So we all know that when we come into like one of websites or something that we need to fill a web application or a web form, and we're going through a process on that web form, and during which we get some questions or some clarifications in our minds. And we would love to find like quick answers to our questions that can help us to continue what we started with, either like continue the application, continue the form, or whatever. Um, so this is what we will be discussing today on how AWS can help customers transform their experience with real-time agent assist and GenAI. This is Mahmoud Safi. I'm AWS Senior Solution Architect at AWS, and with me today, Gary Taylor, the CTO of Data Flow Services, and we're happy today to walk you through our journey. So our agenda for today, we will start by walking through those digital assistant common challenges and what we see with our customers and what we see those challenges and how it impacts the customers and the chain. And we will also explore like how AWS is also addressing those challenges in terms of AWS services, in terms of AWS innovation as well, how we can help customers to address those. We will also go through some GenAI use cases for contact centers. We will see those use cases. We will see how those cases works together and how we can use each. And then we will go in our main use case for today, which is the self-service assist, and we will have some deep technical understanding for this. We will go through the high-level architecture. We will have some understanding to those services that we'll be using in those solutions. And finally, we'll hear from Dataflow about their success story on AWS and their journey with the implementation on production at AWS. Okay, so let me start here by talking about those digital assistant common challenges. And when we're talking about like contact centers or customer service, we're talking about something that is impacting the whole chain. It's not like specific impact, no, it impacts the whole chain, starting from customers to those agents, to supervisors, even to the leadership. So starting from customers, our customers, like we all know that customers don't like the long wait times. They don't like long resolution times. They want also during like their trip on the website that they are doing something. They want to clarify on something. They want to get some support. They want to how to find this support immediately. So this is in terms of customers, and even in terms of agents, those who are like behind the screen or even behind the phone supporting our customers, those also have their own challenges. So imagine like the agent trying to support a customer and looking for single information or some information in like 4 or 5 screens. It's not gonna be like very straightforward to get the information and get it like deliver it to the customer immediately. It will take time. It will make some frustration on the customer side, and this is one of the real challenges that they are facing. And when it comes to supervisors usually find it complex to manage compliance and monitor the agent service level. So they want also to make sure that they have like a clear. Sorry. Cannot open. Okay, so they cannot. They want to know how are we serving our customers? Is this the right support level that we need to provide for our customers? Are we meeting the compliance requirements as well? Do we have a consistent compliance? Do we have any kind of like trending issues and so on? And when it comes to leadership, also they always have some sort of limitation when it comes to the visibility over the data. remember, when it comes to leadership, they want to know the insights, they want to know the customer interactions, they want to know what's going on with our services, so they can also have their own data-driven decisions. They have also a long-term vision for the company, so they need to rely on solid data for such vision and decisions. So, talking about the challenges, we're also at AWS can usually discuss or recommend our customers to innovate on AWS. So innovation on AWS, and especially now with the GenAI services that we have, the floor is open. I mean, the customers can really, really innovate using those services. So I will just mention like 4 key benefits that we see with Gen AI services when it comes to contact centers and when customer service use cases. So starting from accelerate time to insights. So insights is still really critical for us. So I mean, with AWS, with Gen AI, what you can achieve is like to have like quick way to get your insights in order to use the insights for your next step. So you can centralize your data, centralize your decisions, and so on. You can also reduce call handle times for those agents who are supporting. Remember, those agents are there to support our customers as quick as they can. So instead of like spending like minutes or sometimes more than minutes up to hours just trying to find some information or calling back or something, they can just have a quick way, like central location for all the information that they can use to get the information and share it with the end users. And then automate compliance checks, and those supervisors that we said about, we were talking about their challenges, they are looking also for a way to have a consistent and automated compliance. So they need to be aware of any trending issues. They need to have a visibility over customer interactions, so they can also uncover any opportunities to enhance the data, to enhance the service level, and so on. And finally, uncover agent coaching opportunities. So people who are supporting our customers and so can have sometimes skills gaps that we can help to close those gaps to make sure that our customers have like a satisfied interaction with our agents. So with these customer interactions that we are gathering and we are analyzing and we're getting insights from, we can also find opportunities where we need to add or where we need to enhance our customers. One more thing to add is like you can also uncover opportunities of gaps that is available in your data. So either you can see like I'm not providing enough data or I'm not gathering enough data, so I can work on building better data strategy or enhance my data strategy or maybe changing a schema or changing data sources and so on. All of this can help to get the right data and the right opportunities to support our customers. So talking about GenAI board contact center use cases, I will just highlight those 3 use cases, starting from the first one, which is self-service virtual agent, where there will be no human interaction, direct human interaction. It's gonna be all about like communication between the customer through your web application or through your chat UI to AWS services, and then you need to get back with an answer based on your company data to the customer. So this is the first one, and the other one is the agent and supervisor assist for those who are like handling phone calls or handling phone call support or behind screen support. So there is also an opportunity here to enhance the call handle time, as we mentioned, the quality of the service level as well. And finally, the conversational analytics, which is where we can gather insights and enhance our agent experience. The good thing with those three use cases is that they look like three individual use cases. However, they also work together as a full individual solution. So what we're talking about today is like the self-service virtual agent, like what Dataflow is already implementing now. However, I mean, it's still like a first stage of like one of 3, 4 stages that you can jump into the contact center and to jump into the conversational insights and so on. So it can be all together integrated into a one solution. Now, let me focus on this use case, as we said. So how does it work when it comes to Amazon Lex plus GenAI? So we're talking about like virtual assistant, no human interaction. So I mean, technically, we start by having a chat UI for our users where they can pass their questions, and then we pass those questions to Amazon Lex, our user input to Amazon Lex. Amazon Lex will be able to handle, and I will go through Amazon Lex in the next few slides, but it will handle the user natural language and input, and then it will pass it to Bedrock. Bedrock here, the foundation models in Amazon Bedrock knowledge bases will look into the customer own data. So it's going to be like only looking on a specific amount of data that is related to the customer, which can also guarantee for us that we are getting back for the customer with only relative answers. So the customer is asking specific here and getting the relative answer. In this case, we have the data, for example, in Amazon S3. Gary will walk us out through like more details, the architecture in the next few slides as well. So let me quickly also introduce you to Amazon Bedrock and knowledge bases. So Amazon Bedrock is this fully managed AI service that provide access to those foundation models from the leading AI companies through a single API for customers. And building on that, and the knowledge bases is where you can make it really easy to set up those knowledge bases or set up those foundation models to look into your data, specifically your data. So instead of like having those foundation models look into general data, we are using the knowledge bases specifically for data. The data source here can be different. It can be like Amazon S3, it can be a database, it can be like data lake and whatever. And the nice thing also here in the knowledge bases, it provides like secure connection between the foundation models and the data source. So it can deliver again relative responses with a secure communication, and it also provides fully managed RAG workflow, which includes data ingestion, data retrieval, and even augmentation. And it has built-in context management for those multi-turn conversation, which means that it goes more to be like a conversational chat other than like simple question and answer. So even if you have a question, you ask a question, then you ask follow-up question and so on. So Bedrock knowledge bases will be also manages that. And finally, to provide quotations with retrievals to improve transparency. So so it also gives you like some details on the source of the data that the knowledge base is bringing the answer from. So this can increase also the trust and transparency when it comes to the service. Finally, Amazon Lex. Amazon Lex is Amazon AI conversational service. It provides or supports like both voice and text interfaces. Amazon Lex can be used directly to integrate with your application as like a chatbot or so on. So it enables sophisticated conversations, which means again it's not like a simple question and answer. No, it's gonna be like context-aware conversation that provides also some like context within the discussion between or within the conversation within both the customer and the business. And by the way, Amazon Lex is is good when it comes if you want to open like a communication channel between your business and your customers, and it's also easy to use. So even if you are not AI expert, you can just use Amazon Lex without like having that huge expertise on AI and so on. And last one is that it provides also a scalable omnichannel experience, which means that even if your application that you're offering for your customer has different like platforms, like even if your users are using websites, web chats, or even voice interfaces or whatever else, they will have like a unique experience using your Amazon Lex. So with all of those channels, they can still communicate with your support in the same way. So no need to have like different channels or different ways of communication. So finally, it's like this is how we can see it, like that it facilitates actually the communication between the customer business and the end users. With that, thank you so much. I will just hand it over to Gary to walk us through their production implementation experience. Over to you, Gary.
Thanks, Mohammed.
Thank you. 1 second, Gary. Let me just...
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be here. Thanks very much for that introduction. I'll step forward in terms of what Dataflow has done with some of that architecture that Mohammed just introduced to us. Dataflow has been operating since 2007, where it was inaugurated here in Dubai, and is a provider of primary source verification services to high-risk industries. Primary source verification is a process by which we verify documents that have been submitted for job applications or license applications to confirm that the applicants have got the credentials they claim to have, or to determine whether that application is in fact fraudulent, or whether that applicant doesn't have the credentials that they claim to have. Consequently, we have a large focus on the GCC healthcare market. I'll start with digging a little bit deeper into the problem statement that we had, and that was that we had to find a way of addressing a vast number of increased applicant queries that were coming into our applicant support desk. The volume was rapidly outstripping the capability at which we could grow. We were addressing too many dissatisfied users, so we had to come up with an answer that could address all of those problems. We also had to find a way of decoupling the very much linear relationship between our business growth and how many applicant support staff we needed to hire on our AST support desks. And ultimately, we had to find a way of reducing the dissatisfied customer element from our process. Our process can be long, it can be quite a delayed process because we have to go back to the original source of the documentation to get verification of those documents. So in some cases, it can take days and weeks. And during that period of time, we've got a large number of people that are coming to us saying, hey, Dataflow, where is the verification for my document? So we quickly decided that a chatbot was pretty much the way to go. And consequently, we recognized that we had to build that chatbot ourselves. We've seen many chatbots in action, and we've seen many chatbots off the shelf that just didn't quite address what we wanted to address from our chatbot solution. So we decided to build our own. We built our own React-based chatbot application, which sits at the front end of the architecture and then talks to Amazon's AWS Lex and Bedrock services in the back end. We decided to build our own for ultimate flexibility and to be able to sort of customize the model and customize the workflow as we went, and to bring in levels of adaptability as we learned from the career of the chatbot. We also had to have a large focus on dissatisfied users, so determined that we would have to build internal analytics desks or capability to analyze the data that was coming back from Lex and Bedrock so that we could make incremental changes to the process. We started very much with the plug-and-play module that was demonstrated to you earlier with Amazon Lex and Bedrock, and it really was a plug-and-play solution to start with, and we've gradually augmented that model with, as I said, the front-end application that we built to go on as a web interface, and obviously to connect it to some of our internal architecture to provide an enriched experience to the applicants when they come to our chatbot. They're asking questions not only about the general state of the process, but the state of their actual applications. So we had to connect it internally to our own internal database services so that we could provide that enriched data set. What I'll dig into now is just some of the tuning tactics that we've learned over the last few months that we've launched this service, and I think these are the elements that we continue to practice as we continue to tune our model. One of the key elements that we've learned is to continually refresh and update the model. Refresh and update the model, but also the architecture that's behind it. We've tried many types of architecture, we've plugged and played different modules, and we've adapted very much in terms of what our front-end application can do for the applicant before they even approach the AI models. We've internally developed dashboards and tracking utilities. Those themselves use an element of AI to analyze the data so that we can then come up with iterative changes to make to our model and to make to our application and chatbot process. We've tried different models and different prompt engineers. We've finally settled on Claude Haiku for now, but that's not to say that wouldn't change in the future as these models continue to develop. We've tried different prompts to determine whether applicants prefer a long-winded response, whether they prefer a curtailed response, what kind of response do they prefer that gives them the ultimate solution or the ultimate answer to what they've been asking, rather than just giving a long-winded explanation. We constantly update our knowledge base. The knowledge base is the articles that feed into Bedrock. So Bedrock has its source in a bunch of documents that we've got online in an S3 bucket. We've also built an interface to allow our applicant support staff to continually update those documents. Even on a daily basis, we've built a drag and drop interface which allows the applicants to receive the very latest updates from the documentation that we're producing. I'm not getting any click. There we go. Sorry. We've continued to adapt the architecture and the design as we've learned more and as we've adapted over time. In fact, just last weekend, we released a new adapted architecture which hopes to streamline the process flow through which the applicant goes in terms of the chatbot architecture. Obviously, our intent is to reduce as much friction as possible from the process flow and to make sure the applicant gets the details that they need from the interaction with the chatbot as soon as they possibly can. We continue to fix root causes, not root causes with the chatbot architecture necessarily, but the root causes of our entire process flow. Obviously, we realize that a number of people are coming to our chatbot, not necessarily for general information, but they're coming to us because they need answers. They need answers based on the process that we've got in place. So we continue to learn from the chatbot about what we can fix with our entire end-to-end process. Where can we remove friction? Where can we make the process more seamless so that the applicant doesn't even need to come to our chatbot session in the first place? We've also built external connectors to the architecture which connect to our other internal services. As I mentioned earlier, we've connected it to internal database so that we can actually provide real-time results through the chatbot of a particular case where a question is being asked against the particular case. We've also, through the use of our intelligent front end, because we've customized the front end ourselves, we've managed to add a certain element of preamble to the conversation. So consequently, we managed to get the customer intent before we actually start embarking upon providing AI-generated results. That way we can perhaps tune the model a little bit clearer to make sure that applicants are getting the service they actually need. We also realize that AI is only part of the ecosystem. As I've mentioned, we've connected to several different elements internally within the company to provide extended data sources and an enriched source of data for the process. But the AI elements are still core in terms of Lex and Bedrock, but we've augmented that process with other connectivity. And I think the results are starting to speak for themselves in terms of our internal results that we're measuring as a company. 96% of our interactions are classified as successful, which is a fantastic result from our perspective. Only 6% of our interactions actually result in the need for human contact. So that goes a long way towards addressing the primary problem that we had with regards to that continued growth of applicant support staff required to support the number of queries that were coming into the service desk. Every DSAT, every dissatisfied customer off the back of our survey is still reviewed. It's still reviewed using sentiment analysis and human interaction so that we learn from the feedback that's coming back from applicants and we continually adapt our model once again. One interesting result as a side effect, I guess, that's come out of this entire process is that we've managed to take some of the staff from our applicant support desk. retrain them or cross-train them into such a way that they can assist with the technology process. So those people have started to gather a completely new career path, I guess, in learning this technology that they've helped to implement, rather than just sticking in the path of applicant support that they had before. And overall, I guess we recognise that we're on an evolutionary journey. The models will change, the adaptability will change, and that's something we recognise is going to continue to happen through the process. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something through that session. Pleasure to be here today.
So one last thing, maybe